and Ezreal can try and pick them apart as best as possible. Mundo's not going to mind too much about the AoE because he's going to have his W up, which is going to do damage to all of them. On top of the fact it reduces CC anyway, so he's still going to be able to move around.
And Mundo needs a high amount of focus fire to be able to knock him out.
But
So
they've got Kennen and Amumu, and they picked Kennen first, but they picked Amumu into Janna, which I'm finding a bit
they're
odd.
just confident enough. Like that's
Yeah, it is
Janna
confidence
has to
levels.
ult somebody, and as soon as Janna ults one of them, the other one goes in and holds them down for like GG Choust or double lift. Like that's a pretty big deal. Like it's I was expecting to see the Morgana pickup from one of the teams, like no matter what, and I'm so happy that they did it because if they would have given Morgana to CLG, I don't think they could have done anything to stop this team comp. Straight up, I don't think there was anything they could have done. That Black Shield would have stopped the kick and the knockback. Now, let's talk...
Quick look at Hotshot's runes, by the way.
Oh, sure.
He's gone for a mix. He's got armor penetration plus magic penetration reds, the mixture ones.
The
armor
hybrids
yellows.
and the attack damage quints.
Ability power blues and attack damage quints. So
I like that, actually. That's clever.
well, I've seen the hybrids for a while. I don't think I've seen them really.
Yeah, I never see the hybrid runes used, and Kennen is a character who can really make fantastic use of them, particularly in this matchup where he's able to, where most of his harass is coming from auto attacks. Like when you think of Lee Sin, you don't think of Lee Sin as someone who's going to get nailed in the face with Qs all the time. Lee Sin is someone who is going to be getting harassed through autos. And he's going with just a super general page here, flat AD, armor, and magic resist. Now, bottom lane, Grave, Sona versus Ezreal, Janna. Who do you think is going to win that?
I honestly don't know.
I think
I
the
honestly
heal
don't think I can call
exhaust.
that.
I think Janna and Ezreal running heal exhaust ignite flash is going to be much stronger in lane than flash exhaust heal. And Ezreal naturally has more lane damage than Graves does, but Sona's harass is going to be much better than Janna's. So I think it's going to come down to Afromu having to outplay double lift, while Nat gives him the shield to try and make the plays happen.
It's two different levels of that as well, because Nat last game, he played John and he went flash clairvoyance. In this game, running heal exhaust. So
Well, I guess now he can't accidentally flash, right?
I was going to say that as a joke until I thought, no, I won't say that. I won't pick up.
No,
that.
I love Nat. He's easily he's easily my favorite support player.
Oh, by
Easily.
far.
Yeah.
I totally agree. But it's just interesting to see that the supports aren't just running the same thing over and over and over again. I know the CV thing, is situational, and it shows how situational he's been in bottom lane with running two different summoners for two different games.
Whew. Wow. So, game number 2 here, guys. Super excited to see CLG running this AoE comp. GG bringing Orianna back into his roster.
I just hope they don't disappoint, because last week we saw them play the full global team comp and it went terrible for them.
That's true.
And I just hope it doesn't do that again, like they do this and it goes back, because I really, really want to see CLG do well in this AoE team comp. Because it'll bring Orianna back into the fray, it'll bring a Mumu possibly back on the scene again.
In the same vein, I want them to lose so that we get a third game. And that's selfish of me, but I like to see good League of Legends.
I thought you were going to say it's because I don't want to see a Mumu again. So I was like, oh.
No, I don't hate Amumu that much. And Amumu is actually a fairly competitive pick right now. Really underrated. Really underrated. And it's really ballsy of Saint to pick him into a Mundo, so he has to be super confident in Hotshot and GG's ability to back him up in the jungle. And I think he's right to make an assumption like that, because Orianna is going to be able to push into Morgana fairly well in the early stages, and then in the later stages he's going to be able to flash clear, and that's going to be pretty important.
No, we didn't talk about level 1, but straight away we know for a fact that Epic has the bigger level 1 by far. And you can see this by the way CLG's position. Like, we're not going to even bother trying to get caught. We're just going to play passively. And they've warded the blue.
defensive
so
ward
see
here.
to go for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really happy with that, and the ball placed here to let them know if an invade is coming. And this is one of the advantages that people never really give Orianna credit for. Like, she's really good at stopping invades.
They're stuck in this bush from a decent position, so
I want them to wait until like 155 to make a play.
The ward's going to get spotted. They're going to get seen by the ward now, so they know. And straight away, Vicious immediately.
I think he's going to go for their blue.
It looks like GG's going there as well, along with Chaucer to help them do it. So they're going to try blues here, and so it's not going to be a big effect for Saint.
No.
I'm more surprised they didn't just hit the free red. I mean, I know Amumu needs his blue. It really helps him.
Yeah.
But with the change to actually they've warded this as well. I didn't actually notice that. EG warding their blue, so they know Amumu's here. Amumu's starting on the wall.
GG shouldn't have been pulling
GG just pulled them twice and just messed up them up, so he's not able to get the wolves as well. So
I like Saint's Tantrum first here. Tantrum gives you a faster clear on these wolves and the wraiths, but slower against the big ancients and the double golems. So, I mean, that didn't really have an effect on anything because GG pulled the wolves twice, so Saint couldn't do anything. Yep. But that's just like a little something that most people don't realize about the new jungle. You're better off going with Tantrum than you are with Despair. Now,
does it really make a difference though at level 1? Because
it does. It's quite a bit faster, and you save a lot of HP.
You mean with the wolves? You mean on the wolves? Ah, right, okay.
Absolutely.
I was going to say because you pretty much take the blue at 154 anyway, so Despair is fine. But I suppose it speeds you up in the wolves a little bit.
And it mitigates your damage intake, which allows you to start, say, boots 3 instead of a regrowth if you wanted to. And Saint actually did start with the regrowth, so he's just going to be trying to fast clear this.
Things trading a lot. I'm sorry to interrupt there. I thought they were going to be a bit more harassed than that.
I mean, this is going to be a shenanigans lane all game long, so do not hesitate to let me know what's going on up here, because
I'll just jump in.
Yeah, either of them could die at any point, and Unstoppable really low out here.
Mundo, yeah.
Yeah, he's fine though. I did really like Saint.
Well, Hotshot gets hit by a long-range Q and he's going to get pushed back to his tower. I thought there was possibility there again. Hotshot took some free damage from Qs there for no reason. I think he's had 2 land on him already.
Yeah.
And you expect him to be in his minion wave as much as possible, really.
And Kennen versus Lee Sin is a really heavy matchup. Like, either player can win this at any point in this game. Like, until Kennen gets, like, super stacked, either of them will be able to win. And Lee Sin can get more stacked than Kennen can and just pressure Kennen out, so it's pretty silly to watch.
Well, it's pretty, like you were saying, it looks pretty obvious because he's now out right here. They're going to be seeing each other in the bush, yeah. I was about to say, the ward goes on so Vicious sees it. I think he saw it just came and
Unstoppable just smote it. Yeah.
But yeah, Kennen's already out of health pots, and Lee Sin got one in reserve. Oh, he's just used it, so now they're even in top.
GG's actually maxing Dissonance here, and this is, I think, I want to say it's just GG not adapting to the new changes, but Command Attack no longer increases the mana cost. Now, Dissonance is going to be more damage per point, but Command Attack, when you level it, lowers the cooldown, has a static mana cost, and increases the damage by quite a bit. So I'm a little interested in the reasoning behind that, as I know Salsi and Pharrellin both max the Q right now.
Well, they'll come in bottom. They don't know he's here, and he's stuck into this bush now, so Double Lift Chauster are pushing this lane as well. The lane's pushing for them, so they're going to overextend ever so slightly if Mundo waits for the right opportunity. Here he comes. He does come out of the bush instantly, E, and flash forced by Chauster because Double Lift dodged with his E.
Yeah, that's
Chauster E and forced the flash, unfortunately.
That's exactly the right play. If he wouldn't have flashed that, he would have gotten the crap kicked out of him. I think he could have maybe stalled, like, the most he could have done would have been stalled and get like an exhaust possibly, but flashing there is not a waste at all. Like, he didn't panic flash. He knew that he would get messed up. Now, Unstoppable is not punishing this Amumu jungle a lot. Do you think that's going to have a huge impact in this game? Do you think Amumu being allowed to free farm and free level is going to be something that loses this game for EG, or do you think it's going to prove to not matter that much?
Well, it could do, because at the end of the day, we've been talking all the time about how St. Vicious is very aggressive, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But he's now on this sort of jungler that if he goes aggressive, his team are going to be able to capitalize a lot on. Because if he gets off a good initiation, stays on them, gets his ultimate off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If he's tanky enough to be able to get in there, then a better Mumu, a stronger Mumu, is dangerous.
True.
A lot of people on the Divine, because just being alive in a team fight without despair run does a lot of damage.
Do you think Saint is going to go for a more AP build, like a Woda? Or do you think he's going to go for like a more pure tank build, like a Sunfire?
I honestly don't know. I expect a tank build looking at the team, but knowing Saint, he's going to want to do damage.
Mm-hmm.
So
wouldn't surprise me even a little bit to see the Woda build.
No, it wouldn't surprise me to see the Woda build at all, and it would go well with the fact he's got double AP in both lanes as well.
Yeah.
Well, possibly double AP, because GG could still go either way.
Yeah,
sorry,
hot shot
could go either way, not GG.
Yeah, and GG, Orianna in particular, is not someone who's well known for picking up a Woda, so he could go with the double with the Woda to just give Kennen one. In addition,
so Mundo getting spotted bottom, and they realise the blue's up soon, and immediately CLG are starting to swarm to protect it, and so are Epic swarming to come and invade it. So everyone knows the blue's up. The fight is going to start soon. And I don't know what they're going to be able to do about this. I guess they're going to relieve it, and I think Saint might just go for a smite steal here.
He has to try. He has to try.
He dodges the bind, though, so he's not going to be able to.
Good play from Salsi. Good play from Salsi. If Saint would have pressed into that, and Mundo would have cleavered him, and then they would have just gone...
Top lane, though, Hotshot pops his ultimate defensively and overly aggressively. I don't think it was really defensively. I guess he was just a bit worried.
Yeah.
He popped his ultimate there. Lee Sin still got his...
Oh, he gets the flash.
And the kick.
Oh!
Stun under the tower.
Oh.
I think Wings of Death, seeing the ultimate go down, went balls deep then, and that's what happened. He popped everything for that.
If he didn't have the energy for the second part of the Q, that's all it was. Like that's the only thing that happened up there. He was dry on energy for the first part, so he had to auto attack twice to get it, and then he was dry on energy for the second part. And Hotshot was able to get a second stun off. He took too many tower hits and he just died because of it. Like that was so unfortunate. So unfortunate. That would have been an incredible play if he would have gotten the second Q out.
So Hotshot made a bit of a misplay up there, but didn't get punished for it, and instead got the right result that he was after with the ultimate in the first place. So, interesting. So, first blood was Lee Sin. Kennen going to be able to start to take a bit of a lead in this top lane now. Yeah. 53 CS for Kennen to Lee Sin.
He picks up his Sork shoes, which I think is a really smart buy in a lane like this. And the thing about that fight, that was Hotshot up one buy. Hotshot had a Doran shield going into that, and Wings was still running around with just boots.
We're going to see a fight bomb soon. We're going to see a Mumu sneak into this bush in the bottom lane.
And this pink ward here to let him know. This is really good. This is really good for CLG. But it looks like EG kind of has an idea. What's up? Morgana's... She was wandering down here.
Did the ward in the bush catch it?
What ward?
The ward in bottom lane. Can you see the ward in the tri-bush near the blue buff?
It might have. That makes a lot of sense.
That's why the ping was there. So I think a Mumu got caught sneaking in there because of that ward.
Such a smart place to ward. We talked about this yesterday quite a bit, but like when someone is controlling these two bushes, if you ward here, this will let you know when the jungler comes through, unless they stick to this wall, which most people don't do, because no one expects this. No one expects this ward here. It's just so smart.
I think that's clearly what happened, because they pinged the tower immediately when they saw it. So. And
as soon as Saint was in position, as soon as they were out of fog, Aphromoo and Nat both stayed out of flash ulti range of a Mumu. They knew the exact range, and they were just way out there denying themselves CS for it because they knew. They're looking now for the dragon. Ezreal just ulted bottom to push this lane really hard. Yeah, and Graves ulted in response. Both teams are flash farming here to try and free up bottom lane to get the dragon. Chelsea's already moving around to get a position down for a ward. Salsi's already from mid because they know Orianna went bottom. Kennen meanwhile top. Wings and Hotshot. Yeah, they're trading, but Dragon does go to Epic Gaming in the end. They're not in a position to really deal with it because Orianna went back. They noticed it. Salsi pushed Orianna out. Both Ignites are about to be up. Hotshot's trying to make a play here. Oh my
It's going to be close.
This is just a bar fight up here. Like, someone needs to split these guys up and put them in 2 different sides of the room because this is ridiculous.
Kennan's going to win this because Hotshot's got health pots, and that's the one difference. And Lee Sin can't come in range to get some lifesteal on these creeps without taking the harass, so...
Yeah. Oh, GG wants this dive. GG wants this dive. They're pinging it. They know what's going on. And Wings is leaving.
Immediately backs off,
yeah. Good play, good play.
Immediately. Well, Morgana straight away. Salsi must have straight away said she's missing, and immediately... Someone's going to go top, try and defend this tower a little bit.
Yeah, someone has to stop it from falling here, because losing this tower this early would be completely devastating.
So
pink ward goes down.
I was just going to say, gold is still even though First Blood went in favour of CLG. Because of the dragon. So.
EG got a dragon, and that's a much bigger deal. Much, much, much bigger deal than First Blood. That has to be a huge CS difference somewhere. So it's 100 to 95... 88
59
to 94.
59 to 80 in top. Lee Sin, 59.
There it is. Yep. So that's just part of the matchup. Lee Sin gives up a lot of CS to harass Kennen. And if it doesn't pay off, Lee Sin falls very far behind.
Mondo's going to be in the jungle here. I'm just going to point this out now. They do see each other. They both wanted the blue buff. They both the blue buff at the same time going, well...
Mundo has the level advantage on Saint. He could go for the smite here.
But this time, though... Kennen is here and Lee Sin isn't, so it's going to be a 4v5.
I think Wings pinged him missing, and he's going to want... Oh.
That's going to be dangerous. They're grouping up for it. Mundo is in a position to try and steal it.
Good binding here, good ult!
Wow, shots immediately. Double is going to have to back off. It's a 4v4 now. Oriana comes in with the ultimate, does pop it. A Mumu ultimate straight away, but it all went on Mundo, no one else. John ult in response. Ezreal sat at the back doing tons of damage as much as possible. Morgana does pick up a Mumu, Ezreal picks up Kennen, and now they're going to have to back off into 4v3. Graves gets hit, and so does Oriana by the whirlwind.
What is Wings doing right now? Like, he is... I think they want mid. They have to get mid off this. That was so big for EG. Oh my goodness, what a fantastic fight. Afromu, flawless positioning there. He knew that they wanted to send Unstoppable in to tank all of the ults and get all of it triggered on him. And he stayed at the back exactly out of range of Kennen and Amumu and just went to town in that fight. And I think that snipe on Chouster was so phenomenal. They caught them through this ward and then bound through the wall. So just really good play. And it didn't really matter who it hit. If it hit Chouster, fantastic. If it hit Doublelift, even better. And one thing that I wanted to point about that snipe, Ezreal didn't shift over the wall, right? So he had vision, so he shifted into the wall here to let the hit go over instead of shifting over and committing himself and separating himself from the team. And that is a really smart play. I don't think I've ever seen an AD carry do something like that before, and that's just phenomenal. Oh, and being told that because we hit 15,000 we have some RP cards to give away or something. So we'll talk a little bit more about that after the game's done. Now, 3-2 now. 1 dragon up for EG, 1 tower up for EG. CLG in a pretty good spot, but...
Gotta say though, Kennen's getting pretty much free farm in this top lane now, and he's forcing Lee Sin out again. Someone just had to come up here and cover, so... He's getting his farm on.
Yeah.
And Lee Sin's struggling. He's caught up a little bit on CS though. He is only 10 CS behind now. But Lee Sin needs to keep getting cover from Mundo, because otherwise Kennen's just going to continue this assault on top.
Kennen, someone has to do something about Hotshot, because Wings is in a pretty bad spot. He's got a Brutalizer now, so he's going to be able to do something about it. He can all-in Hotshot better than Hotshot can all-in him, because he's gone for a mid-tier item, which is, as far as cost-effectiveness, one of the best in the game.
What do you think of Brutalizer instead of Hexdrinker?
I think Hexdrinker would have been the smarter play for team fights, but to win this lane, he needs the raw damage from the Brutalizer, I think. I don't think he can win by just playing a middle-of-the-road game with Hexdrinker and Mercury Treads, although that's what most people would have done.
And Mumu sneaking in this top bush.
Oh, Saint.
Just in again.
Saint's so smart here.
They want this tower. They want this tower. So even if he doesn't get it, Lee Sin just go in. And Mumu banish straight away. And the ultimate straight after. Double ultimates. Wings Death goes down.
Yep. And that's going to be the tower. Easily the tower.
Instant down. Well, Mundo's not in a position to defend it, so yeah.
Where's... Oh, I was expecting a counterplay from Mundo, but you're right. Mundo's back in the base. Getting in Oracles. Double Doran Shield. What do you think of that? I like double Doran Shield.
I like the double Doran Shield, especially on Mundo, because it gives him everything he wants.
I think in this comp, though,
Alfred.
I don't think I like it against this team. I think there's a time for it.
There's going to be a dive on bottom lane here.
Yeah,
they're going to go for a 4-man dive.
This is the play
trying to make a play.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is the cue. The Ezreal ultimate goes out. Flash and ultimate from Morgana, but the flash from Shasta staves in, but double is going to go down. He does use his ultimate to try and keep him alive, but it's not going to help him.
Yep.
So Double does get traded for Lee Sin and a tower in the end.
And Dragon.
And Dragon straight away. So should be able to pick up this Dragon as well.
That was
CLG,
a
not
fantastic
really in a position to do
play from EG. So good. It's exactly what they needed when they saw that dive. They needed to make something happen on the other side of the map. And even if it doesn't happen immediately, making the play happen when they know that Saint isn't nearby and they know that Amumu's ultimate is down is really important. Because that's one of the big things about an Amumu or a Sejuani or something like that. One of the biggest weaknesses is the cooldown on the ultimate, and knowing that you can make a play while the ultimate is down is what separates good teams from great teams.
Well, they saw Kennen ult and Amumu ult go down, so they thought, well, even if we do get into a fight here, you know, they've not got Graves anyway because he just died, and if the rest of the team does manage to get here in time, then they're limited on the amount of abilities they can use.
And Hotshot was still top, so Saint was the only one that could have been there. And I can't think of a single person who's afraid of an Amumu without an ultimate.
No. Unless Amumu was... I mean, a fed Amumu is a dangerous thing, but Amumu's not fed. You know, he's just farm.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, Saint's done a pretty good job keeping his farm up, if you look at his gold.
Yeah, I guess Mundo as well. But I suppose Amumu does have a good job, easy job clearing the jungle anyway, naturally. And the jungle changes allowing for mana regen has helped him too. But the blue is up, the ward is there, and Amumu is on the other side of his jungle waiting for his golems to spawn.
Yeah. Tantrum max here, and he's actually maxing Bandage Toss second, which is really interesting, I think, because having rank 1 Despair, like, Despair goes up by what? Is it a full % every time you level it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and Bandage Toss you gain some damage, and I think cooldown reduction, that might be wrong. It's been a long time since I played Amumu. But I kind of like that. I kind of like it.
Isn't the Q? The Q's just on. It's on cooldown, and it does a little bit of burst damage, I suppose, 200.
Yeah.
But I think it starts off at like 50, 60. But it's the highest skill AP item. Sorry, AP skill on him, apart from his ultimate, obviously.
Oh, well, you don't level up an ability for the scaling on it, right?
No,
the
you don't.
Stat.
You don't generally, but you never know.
Ooh.
Pick off in top lane though.
Yeah. Hotshot still has flash up. Lightning Rush. Okay, so he's fine.
It's a good flash, that. It was a good flash. He dodged the cleaver. He realised it was going to hit and flashed.
Yep.
So even with ping, they're still doing fine, CLG.
Yeah, must be a good day for them. Must be a really good day for them. And I think Afromu might be able to take this tower here. No,
it is low enough.
It's low enough that he could, but Doublelift is doing such a good job of clearing it. Afromu actually going for the Bloodthirster here, and I really, really like this. I see too many Ezreals rushing like a Sheen or a Brutalizer or something like that. And while that helps your poke quite a bit, Ezreal's an AD carry, and he still auto-attacks, and you need to be concerned with something like that.
And now they're just taking Amumu's red as well, giving it to Lee Sin to help him out in that top lane.
Bottom, it is going down. Ignite has come out, ults come out. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, that's going to back up, because top lane, they know where Kennen is, and I think they're going to go for Kennen here.
Okay.
With the dive. They do miss the Q, apologies. I decided the 5 bottom lane didn't happen in the end, but I just thought there was something going to happen there top, because they pinged and saw Kennen ward and then go for the golems immediately. I was like, ooh, could be a pick.
Yeah, they want to get this ward, and CLG's in no position to punish them for going for it. GG going with a totally standard Orianna build here, Sork Shoes, Double Dorans, Death Cap. And Salsi actually going Rod of Aegis instead of early Hourglass. What do you think of that?
Ooh. Just stealing them. So I just saw Salsi steal them from the Mumu and they put me off.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get bandaged through the wall, and it was just going to be a massive explosion of a fight mid.
I think the Rod of Ages is a really good pickup from Saucy because he's going to be in a massive ultimate comp. When Saucy wants to go in and get his ultimate off, he's going to have to go into an Amumu ult, a Kennen ult, and an Orianna ult. So he needs to be at least a little bit tanky.
Yeah.
To try and survive as long as possible in that sort of situation.
I guess when you look at CLG's comp, because typically the response to Morgana coming in and the reason you pick up an Hourglass is so you don't get insta-gibbed and your positioning doesn't get readjusted, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't have good single target damage output. They don't have any repositioning abilities. So I kind of agree with you that the Rod of Ages is a pretty safe choice here for Morgana. Now, do you think Hotshot's farm relative to Wings of Death is going to have a huge impact on this game? Because everywhere else, it seems to be mostly even within 10 CS of each other. Top lane is the only big disparity. Do you think it's going to have too big of an impact, or do you think EG is going to be fine?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't think it's going to have that much of a bigger impact now, and I can't explain why. Because I'm tired. I'm sorry. I've just switched off them for a second. I can't think.
Yeah, no worries.
It's 4 a.m. I'm sorry. I was starting to fall asleep, but I need to wake up again.
Yeah, it's been a pretty long day. But I think Lee Sin is still going to be able to remain relevant throughout this game by just kicking priority targets. And EG doesn't really, they're packing 2 exhausts, which is good enough to prevent Hotshot from pulling his shenanigans. But if Wings can, get a miraculous kickoff while Amumu's bandage tossing into his team, that's all he needs to do. And Hotshot needs to have won that lane by a much bigger margin to have that kind of impact. Because Hotshot is needed for his damage output here. And if he doesn't... I'm sorry. What I'm trying to say is Wings is going to be used for his utility, not his damage, and Hotshot is going to be used for his damage. So Hotshot didn't win by enough of a margin to do more damage than Lee Sin is going to provide his team with utility. And
like you were saying with Lee Sin's ultimate, I mean, if he can kick Kennen the perfect opportunity, they're going to go for a possible.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go for a pick off here, but they're just going to get the blue. Salsi was waiting in this bush pretty patiently for GG, and GG's just leaving.
CLG have just basically admitted defeat on the blue buff and not gone for it again.
Yeah.
Since level 1, they've just basically realised they're not going to have their own blue buff at all. They can't do anything about it.
It is the downside of Mundo, or of Amumu versus Mundo. Yeah.
But like you were saying, I mean, Lee Sin, if he does get a perfect kickoff, it can change the team fight totally. Mm-hmm. Because if Kennen comes in with an ultimate, say Flash ultimate, and Lee Sin immediately kicks, it can knock him into the whole team that puts them all behind.
Yeah. Now...
Mundo doing a good job of trying to take as much CS off of Mumu as he can, wherever he can, with his oracles as well.
Yeah, his lanes have won by a significant margin, and I think he knows that if he and Salsi were to get into a 2v2... with GG.
Oh, they're going to go for Baron. Unstoppable, engaging onto Baron straight away. Salsi's here too.
This is
no ward too. Well, they can see
like
Graves
this.
is born. Lee Sin's coming in now
I
as well.
think Wings kind of telegraphed it there by disappearing. What does CLG know? What is they're all coming here.
Vicious might have to make a play with his Q. Has he got a ward? He does ward over and see he's going to make a play. He's going to have to. The AoE team comp could...
Oh!
Nice kick through the wall. Kennen comes in with the ultimate. Doesn't manage to get the steal off, but gets quite a lot of damage off everyone. He's going to drop for it. Amumu comes in straight afterwards, gets the ultimate off. Kennen did manage to pick up Janna and all of that, and the Big Fat does go in there, get a little bit of damage off with the ball.
That was ridiculous. I've never seen a kick like that. I actually didn't know that the kick...
Wall.
Yeah.
I didn't know the range was big enough, yeah.
That was pretty good. That was. I see why you're a top player, Wings. I see it now. No, I'm kidding. I've always loved your stream. You've been fantastic.
But that's the utility of Lee Sin.
Yeah, that is exactly what we were talking about. That was pretty crazy. Like, there was a binding so that Saint couldn't Q, because you can't use repositioning abilities when you're bound, and then a kick to get him further away so that he wouldn't be in position. And Afromu going for a blind check here to try and catch double lift because he knows he's far enough ahead that he could beat the crap out of Graves right now.
Well, the lead's 4k now, and that tower advantage in mid is pretty big. because it does give, like we were talking about earlier, it's map control, so they're going to try and take the red now.
Yeah.
Mundo with this Oracle is just doing a good job of keeping the wards down and stopping
they catch Chowster, they're going in. Go ahead.
So they are trying to engage and keep him off it, but it's not going to continue. Meanwhile, Chowster does get picked off. Sorry, I was talking about the red buff at the same time. So it looks like Salsi has to use his hourglass to get himself out of a lot of trouble, though, and they're all picking him off as best they can. Not taking a lot of damage. Salsi's still surviving through all of this as Mundo does a good job of zoning the team best of his ability. Lee Sin turns up, does get some free damage off onto them, so Chowster getting picked off. Sorry, I didn't catch that bit of the fight. There was 2 fights at the same time.
Yeah. So Chowster just got caught by a binding in a puddle, and Salsi was like, I'm doing this, and he just like flashed in, ignited, ulted, and chased him down, and then he caught Chowster with like a last auto attack at the tower, and he was out of position from his team, so CLG collapsed in on Salsi and Nat, I want to say, and Nat used heal and exhaust to keep them alive. So really, really good play there. And they are going to be able to get top tower here, widen the gold advantage. Meanwhile, CLG...
Try and even up a little bit. But
Salsi's really low. He can't defend this by himself. EG needs to make a play. They need to either like go for a Rax top or come one. Mid.
They saw 2 tops, so they could get some free damage off on this at least. And Salsi's staying dangerously here. He's not got a lot of mana left.
Yeah, this is going to be a second tower. That's
well
not
played by
okay.
CLG. Yeah. Really well played by CLG to start bringing themselves back into that. They saw the 2 of them top and thought, right, we can get at least 1 tower. We'll try and get some free damage off on the other.
The hesitation from EG allowed them to get that second tower there. So just really good decision making from CLG. No hesitation. They just went and they knew what they had to do.
So CLG's got a tower advantage now.
Yeah. And that's not something that usually happens when Baron is on the other team.
Well, to be honest, CLG were behind in this game, and it looked like it was just going to be a slow death for them, so to speak, because they slowly get picked apart. But that turns it again, you know? That tower advantage is huge, especially in the mid lane.
Now, do you think EG wants to like push mid in because they have the most exposed lane? That's their most exposed lane, or do you think they want to split push and try and separate the massive AoE comp that CLG is running here?
Most definitely separate, you know? It's quite clear you don't want to go into fight an AoE team comp with your team.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job, I'll admit they're doing a good job what they are getting in these fights, but they need to make sure they keep splitting them up as much as possible, because one really good engage could turn it totally.
Afro's going to have an IE here. He's got the gold for he's almost got the gold for it. And
so Afro, he was just poking mid on his own, and I felt really scared for him.
Yeah, me too. I was watching it, I'm like,
So they're taking the blue again, just using their ability of the...
Yeah, CLG timed out the Baron. They only lost 2 towers for it, and they took 2 towers in the meantime, so it was a total wash. And Baron really just came down to just another gold advantage for EG.
It's unusual for CLG not to have an Oracles. I don't think we see... Did Chowster have one when he died last time? Because I don't remember seeing it.
I don't think he did.
We've not seen an Oracles. CLG haven't picked one up the whole game so far.
Yeah.
And it's starting to show because Mundo's run around with his Oracles forever, it feels like.
Yeah.
He pretty much has.
He's 1-0-5 with a Warmog. He's been...
And because of that, they've got war control so much. Yeah. Now CLG doing a good thing here. They've realised when people recall and trying to punish it and push it back.
Yeah.
And try and make things happen while that happens, so... They're going to try and use the fact Mundo's gone back to push the lanes out a little bit more, establish a bit more map control.
And that is the IE from Ezreal there. And I believe EG is going to use this to get a second dragon here. And we're going to have Baron up in about 2 minutes. Now,
we're going to see a fight of the dragon now, for sure. We're going to see CLG coming down to try and pick someone off, but they're already doing it. So
this is the perfect positioning for CLG. All of EG grouped up and split here.
Mundo's going to charge into them, though. And Mundo does get hit by the Baron. He does take a lot of damage, but he's going to live. Amumu does flash his ultimate to catch him all that position. Big Fat taking a lot of damage, though, from Morgana. Janna does get dropped immediately. Kennen gets dropped. Sorry, Kennen drops Janna. Amumu manages to pick up Lee Sin. Kennen picks up Morgana.
Yeah.
And St. Vicious. Getting a nice bandage at the end on Ezreal. So
welcome to AoE comps.
This is what we said. You don't want to get picked off, and Mundo got caught.
Yeah.
But then when he got caught, St. Vicious did a really good job of that flash ultimate to pick up the whole team who came to support him.
He got all 4 of them in the
big
back line. That's all it was. Afromu did so much work there, but wasn't able to actually, like, it didn't matter. He was able to pick off Chouster. He was almost going to get double lift. He was almost going to get Saint, and just barely not enough.
So it's going to be a mid tower at least. They're not going to go for the inhibitor.
No.
The reason I think that is because Baron should be up soon, and I think that's what they're worried about as well. So they're going to go back, recall, ready for the Baron fight.
Staying for this would have been risky, and it definitely would have given Baron to the other team.
And that gold advantage is now slipped to only 1k in advantage of Epic Gamer now.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 towers down. And one biggest thing about the 2 towers down, one of them is an exposed inhibitor now.
Did you see how Wings used his ultimate there? Because I didn't actually catch it. I was watching...
No, I didn't, unfortunately. I saw the Morgana went in with the... Morgana's ultimate was really good with Zhonya's, and it kept the team isolated for as long as possible, but... It just felt he picked him apart really, really quick. I'm surprised and Mumu managed to pick up Lee Sin.
They're going to go for this Baron right away, I think. As soon as it spawns, they're going to try and rush it down. And Unstoppable does have the Oracle still, so... Yeah.
It's a bit dangerous. Well, you know, all the ultimates are down, I suppose, so it's a good time to try and do it. But Kenneth's just come back up.
All the ults are within like 10 seconds of each other, yeah? So they should be able...
So they come back up really quickly.
Unstoppable needs to catch this ward because CLG knows exactly what's going on. They're not face-checking anything. Oh...
Mundo's going to go straight in for this. I don't know who he's going to go for, but meanwhile, Saint Vicious doing his good job of getting onto the enemy team as possible. Salsy's taking a lot of damage. He just has to use the Zhonya's. Kennen's ultimate does go off the Zhonya's hourglass to keep himself alive as long as possible. Kennen's going to go down. Salsy's still alive, and Saint Vicious trying to chase with the despair to keep him going. He does get dropped as well as you're picking that up. Meanwhile, Graves does take out Lee Sin because of it. Oriana's continuing the chase, though. She's quite happy to do so. Backs off eventually. 2 for 2 exchange there.
Yeah.
But the bad news is for Epic is that CLG have the damage he wants to be able to go and pick up these towers still.
Well, Afro is fully healed off of the creep, so he's going to be able to stop them from taking anything terribly important, but he's not going to be able to stop them from taking this tier 2 tower, not with this wave here. But that was a ridiculous fight. Afro was able to get a good ulti on Hotshot there, and Hotshot was... It basically got him as he came out of Hourglass and just chunked him. And the rest of the fight was just very well played by CLG. They weren't able to focus Afromu, so Afromu was zoned by Saint the entire time. And that forced him to focus on Saint, because he can't run into an Amumu. He'll just get stunned and then get focused by the AD carries on the other team. He has to hit the Amumu to try and break the tank line to get to the rest of it. And he split himself over the terrain here after the Amumu was dead to try and get some poke pickoffs. And he was almost able to get double lift. He was almost able to... I think he did get Chouster, actually. But just good play all around from both teams in that fight. I was very, very happy with it.
So Chouster finally got the Oracles now?
Salsy's still rocking Boots 1. What do you think of that?
I'm really surprised by that at this stage of the game. Really surprised by that.
They can't just give out this inhibitor. What are they doing?
Well, they saw Mundo and Lee Sin top, so Mundo Lee Sin out of position, so they give up the free, and Shirelli has popped to get out there as quick as they can. Nice cue from...
They have to go on that.
So they're going to have to go in, and Mumu does turn around and get the bandage off to try and slow them down. Mundo trying to do as much work. Nice ultimate from Mumu though to keep the rest of the team pinned, and immediately Morgana goes down. Ezreal gets his ultimate off across the top. Unstoppable's in a lot of trouble. He does go down to Graves eventually. Wings of Death getting picked off soon after. Oriana continues to push forward to isolate as many as he can. Ezreal's going to try and do his best to escape.
I think they can Throne off this. I think that's
this could be GG from here.
Mm-hmm.
So Hotshot, they're pushing forward to try and pick up Afromo. Saint Vicious tanky enough to take quite a few tower hits. They might just go for another tower. They could go for bottom or Baron. They're both available to them.
They should just go for Baron. Like, that's the best play right now.
Yep, 30 seconds, there's no reason not to.
Yeah. If they could have gotten Afromu, I would have said that they should just thrown it, because they could have. But Afromu is a very big deal. And the only reason they're winning these fights is because Saint is doing such a good job of keeping him out. And I just... Oh, this is bad decision making in the late game by EG. It feels like they're indecisive, almost. Like they don't know where they want to be. So they're just giving away key objectives and not capitalizing on, like, when they have an advantage. Like that Baron.
I think that dragon, if I'm honest, that dragon was just a turning point immediately. that bad fight at Dragon where Mundo got picked by a Mumu and then a Mumu flashed and all the whole team.
Yeah.
It's just turned from there, really.
Well, he was late because he was picking off a ward, which I don't think he should have been doing. But like it's
that's the whole turning point for this. And CLG were just capitalizing so well.
I think EG had a point where they were so far ahead, CLG couldn't contest. And because they were afraid of the AoE comp, they didn't want to tower dive, which makes perfect sense. Like, you do not tower dive in AoE comp. I don't care what anybody tells you. I don't care how much gold lead you have. Don't tower dive AoEs. But they could have split push well, and they could have taken more towers and widened the gold gap more so that these fights wouldn't be going down like this. And they hesitated. They were mid together, and then they were top together, and then like they lost 2 towers, and they didn't know where they wanted to be.
We're going to see an engager here, bottom, because this whole AoE team comp is in position to do something, and there's not a lot they can really do, because if they do try and do it, they saw Mundo was mid, so another inhibitor going to go down in bottom lane straight away. I'm just waiting for the engage now. It's going to come at some point.
CLG doesn't have to engage. They're not on the clock. They can just take down all of these. They can.
Very true. But I think Epic Gamer are going to have to do something.
Yeah. EG has to make a play.
And when they make the play, we're going to see a whole big battle. But it's the same as last game. We're going to have to see him make a big play. And I don't think it'll be at this tower, at this top area. I think they'll let this one go for free, but the next one they'll have to defend. Otherwise, it's definitely GG.
Yep. They oh my, like it's so hard to. It's hard to figure out what they're thinking, right? Because they can't have just said, you know what, guys, we have a huge lead. I feel like losing. There's decision making behind it, and I'm trying to figure out what it is, and I can't. I mean, I'll have to talk with them later. But
so the last stand battle gotta happen soon. The Chevaliers gets popped from John, and the ultimate from NESL straight away. Salsi flash ults in, gets a lot of damage off onto him. He uses the Tony's hourglass to try to save life as much as possible. Kennan's doing a lot of damage at the back though, and meanwhile Sonar picking up 2 kills. She's fed now. She's going to be in a lot more trouble. The ignite goes off, and Nat does manage to live, but the tower goes down, and that is going to be GG. 3 versus 5. You're not going to get away from that. Yeah. They tried to engage, but as we expected, it didn't really come to much against the full AoE team comp.
It was a really good engage, and if they would have had an engage like that in the last 2 fights, then I think they would have won. But unfortunately, that's not how it turned down, and that is how it turned out, and that is going to be.
CLG played really, really well this game. Though both games, CLG is really showing how strong they are. Just
fantastic decision making. Whoever's calling the shots in these games is really doing a fantastic job. It's really hard to find a flaw with how CLG has played in these last 2 games. They've just been smart about everything. Even like the small decisions that we didn't agree with, like conceding the blue, and well, we did agree with that, but like small things like that are things that people don't really attribute to the teams and the shot callers. Like a lot of teams would have gone for a contest there, but CLG knew better and they didn't. Now, that is going to be it. So
we've got some RP cards to give away. Sorry, at least one RP card to give away, I believe.
Yeah,
$25.
Let's figure out what's going on. And
is $25 a lot of money? I don't know your strange currency.
It's pretty okay. It's not bad.
Okay.
At all. So
how many skins was like 2, 1, 3, 5?
I'm actually not sure. It looks like it's just 1 right now. You go post on the national ESL forums in the thread that I'm going to be posting in chat right now. And all right, here we go. So okay, so it is that thread. You have to follow the stream, post in the thread, and you will be entered to win the $25 in Riot points. Now,
so click follow on the stream,
yeah,
and post in the thread. Very simple.
Now, what else is there? Java. We don't care about Java. What else? Why is my law replay updating? Very specific reasons. Okay. Now, any questions in chat? Did you want to do a Q&A? I know it's like 5 in the morning for you or something ridiculous.
I can do a little bit. No, no, it's fine. I can do for a little bit. If people still want to hear me, because I did have a go at someone in chat and then it exploded. I'll be good this time, I promise. I'm sorry, it was a bit of tightness in there, but
Yeah, no worries.
yeah, I could do a Q&A. I don't mind.
Okay.
I won't feed the trolls this time. That's what someone just said in chat. Don't feed the trolls, so I won't.
Safe bet. Safe bet. The link's been posted twice now. Where is it? There it is. Third time. Third time. Go to the post. I haven't seen a single question. What's your history with League of Legends? I've been playing since the second wave of beta invites. I've been a high-rated player since I've joined, basically, and I've 2-season platinum right now. That's pretty much it. Like, I used to be in tournament. I used to compete in tournaments, and we placed fairly highly, but it was just like a real-life team with friends. Do you think this loss was because of the fact that Aframu, Unstoppable, and Wings are all new players? No. I mean, it might be. It very well could be because of that. That could be the uncoordination that's happening. But it's entirely possible that it's just that EG doesn't have a dedicated shot caller. I think the plays they made overall were really good, but they just weren't able to capitalize. And yeah, Cruiser, I got your message. I'll add you, and I'm going to add Wild Canadian right now.